Okay, so I just want to give a quick overview of a topic not discussed very often. A lot of us that have Victron systems or lithium batteries or Epoch batteries with CAN communications and Cerbo GXs, we cover that a lot, but very rarely is interfacing it with your chart plotter. Garmin does this fairly well, and I know Raymarine does it as well. I don't know about the rest of them. Meritron has a lot of different ways that you can interface some of this stuff, especially the NMEA2k stuff. Not an expert on Meritron, but I know that they have a lot of really neat ways to do this. So let's just give a rundown. So we've got a pair of Epoch dual purpose cranking and deep cycle 120 amp hour batteries. They are networked with each other through this link in. This one's the master, this one's the slave. So link in to link out here, and then link in goes out this cable and ends up right here in Can 2. Alright, so to get the data into the Cerbo and being read, as it's being read here, to Can 2, you have to go to Settings, Connectivity, Can port 2, and you have to set the CAN bus profile to what it's selected at there. CAN bus BMS LV 500 kilobytes per second. Okay, so let's go back. Alright, so that gets data from the battery into the Cerbo and into your Victron system that you can view and see. Now let's take a look at some of that data for the battery. Alright, so this is just all battery information. 13.26 volts, 8.4 amps, 111 watts. State of charge 56%, state of health 100%, battery temperature, details, lowest cell voltage, highest cell voltage, temperatures, 2 batteries online, because we have 2 units here. We have 2 batteries online. Let's see what else. Parameters. So these are in BMS control, external control right now. And this is the information being fed from the batteries, from the pair of these batteries networked together, from the BMS, telling the Cerbo what it wants. Currently it wants to go to 13.8 volts, and it's commanding it to go there. Right now I'm just using a Orion XS just so we can have a charge source and that we can see a few more things in the Victron system. Discharge current limits 168 amps. Charge current limit 168 amps. Discharge current limit 240. That'll do more than these, but these are the coordinated continuous ratings. Alright, let's go back. So here we see the Orion XS. It's just set up as alternator right now. We've got input of 13.13 volts, 10.2 amps coming in, 9.8 amps going out, so it's fairly efficient there. But we've got some voltage and current loss across these crappy batteries or wires that I just cobbled together just for testing, for my own testing. Alright, so that is working well. Now one thing to notice, it says external control. That's because I have also added this VE direct cable that goes from here to here on the Cerbo. That's VE direct. Now since the CAN bus information from the battery BMS is being fed to the Cerbo, and then I have these two connected with the VE direct cable, this is actually an external control now being commanded. I haven't even said anything in this. I just plugged it in, just took it out of the box and just plugged it in, and it's already under external control as commanded by the batteries. So it's doing its thing under external control. So something to note. Go back to the overview. And so that is the information that we have being fed into the Cerbo from the Orion XS 50 amp DC to DC charger and the Epoch batteries. Alright. Now, what about this Garmin? So now we have all that information fed into the Cerbo GX, and there's 2 ways to get data out of the Cerbo GX and into the Garmin or Raymarine. I think they both do this fairly well. I know you can also do it with Meritron. I don't know if you can do it with anything else. Probably a few other things, but I'm not aware of those. I have Garmin on my boat, so I'm familiar with Garmin. So there's two ways to get that information out. Number one is just this RJ45 COM port right here, and that goes just a regular RJ45 cable from this COM port here to the back of here into that big one right in the center to the network input. Alright, so that is one sort of data that can be fed in. The other one is this special cable. It's a Victron part. It goes from VE Can 1 or VE Can, either one. I have it plugged into VE Can 1 right now, and into it goes into the NMEA 2000 port there. So it's exporting data from NMEA 2000. I just have a quick network right there for the NMEA 2000 just to demonstrate. I was just testing it, so it's nothing pretty. But the NMEA 2000 data is being exported from the Cerbo in a usable fashion to the Garmin. Now, one thing about that is we have to go here, so don't forget that was on VE Can 1. Let's go to, again, back to connectivity, VE Can port 1. Now notice it says NMEA 2000 out. That has to be checked. Alright, once that's checked, you should start getting data into your chart plotter. Alright, so now we have two types of data into our chart plotter. Let's take a look at it. Let's just start here. Alright, here is the Ethernet port to your Garmin Ethernet system, and it will send basically tons of data to the Garmin. If I had all of my Garmin stuff, if I had all of my Victron stuff on the boat, I would have a ton of information on here, including shore power, details, DC loads. Here's the Orion XS. I've got battery information. If you click on the battery, alright, there's just a little bit of information. Some of it's down here. It's formatted a little bit weird. 8.4 amps, 111 watts, 56% charging, 24.5 degrees C. Alright, so then we'll go back. Alright. And then this is more information here. Again, it would have a ton of more information. Shore power, DC loads, the Orion, and various other things. There's other things you can do from here, including get this screen to control it from here. Alright, but let's look at some other things. So that is this one, which is the Victron app that gets uploaded. As soon as you plug that Ethernet port from there and into here, you wait about 20 seconds, and that's just going to pop up. Vessel. Yes, it will pop up in here as one of your apps. Obviously, I have Active Captain, but you'll see it pop up in here under Vessel. Alright, so there's our app that was uploaded as soon as we connected the Ethernet cable. This is NMEA 2000 data, which I've just set this up. There's a million different ways to set this up and use the information. Again, I don't have a lot of information to import here because I only have these few devices. So, but this is NMEA 2000 coming across that blue cable into the back of this through the NMEA 2000. And so all I have set in here is state of charge of the battery. Let me get my pointer. And I have the actual battery voltage, how many amps is coming in. That actually says AC volts if I had my multi-plus. And if I had my multi-plus and all the rest of it, there would be more data. I have fuel level, fuel flow, date, time of day, etc., etc. And you can configure this page to be much more elaborate. Alright, so let's go back and let's go to a combo. So then you can set up a combo, and you can see this takes a minute to pop up. That is the data from the Cerbo through the Ethernet port and into the back of the Ethernet port on the Garmin. That's the top. Okay, so there's a few things that you can get through here. DC loads, That's the Orion XS. Of course, the functionality of that is not nearly as much as what's on here, but you know, if you're at your upper helm and you only have a chart plotter up there and you don't have any information, or maybe your Bluetooth for your phone doesn't reach, it's nice to have some data about your battery state of charge and other information. Now, this bottom box is NMEA 2000 data, and you can set that up to read any NMEA 2000 data that's available. You can change those boxes. In this setup right now, I just have the battery voltage, the charge current, the state of charge, and the battery internal temperature. Alright, and then of course I've got my charts there, and heading and things like that. You can change these around a lot. So it's pretty simple, really. It takes a little work to get it all set up, but once you get it all set up and it's all saved in your combos, you know, then a lot of times, you know, you're just going to have some combo that you're using a lot, but then you want to take a look at a few things but not lose your charts. You can just go over here and take a scan, or you know, some people would choose to leave this up if they're doing certain things. So there's a lot of ways to configure this information when you have a CAN bus battery, Cerbo GX, and a Victron system. Obviously the Cerbo GX is the heart of everything. Everything goes through there. And then once you get the data in there, there's various ways to feed it out to various things. In this case, we're covering the Garmin chart plotter. And this is a 943 XSV, by the way. So I think that's it. It took me a little while to get all this sorted out, actually. You know, I'm not a dummy, but it still takes a little bit to get all the settings right, all the cables right, and then plumbed in. But once it's plumbed in, it should be pretty easy. Hopefully this little video helps. It's not a full in-depth tutorial by any means, but it is a rough down and dirty you know, showing of the basics. So alright, more later.